disagree that new disinformation campaigns are being generated every day.
Devious convention to gamify a viral war.
We do have some models.
Public under tension, cities ready to explode.
Countries are reacting in different ways as to how best to mitigate overwhelming amounts of disinformation circulating over the internet.
Engage way
One of which new disinformation campaigns are being generated.
propaganda gaslight spreading out the fear tonight.
We do have some
Trying hard to
models.
breathe, panic into all the cities ready to explode.
Flood the zone.
Countries are reacting in different ways as to how best to mitigate overwhelming amounts of disinformation circulating over the internet.
Engage way
One of which new disinformation campaigns are being generated.
propaganda gaslight spreading out the fear tonight.
We do have some
Trying hard to
models.
breathe, panic into all the cities ready to explode.
Flood the zone.
Countries are reacting in different ways as to how best to mitigate overwhelming amounts of disinformation circulating over the internet.
Engage way
One of which new disinformation campaigns are being generated.
propaganda gaslight spreading out the fear tonight.
We do have some
Trying hard to
models.
breathe, panic into all the cities ready to explode.
Flood the zone.
Countries are reacting in different ways as to how best to mitigate overwhelming amounts of disinformation circulating over the internet.
Engage way
One of which new disinformation campaigns are being generated.
propaganda gaslight spreading out the fear tonight.
We do have some
Trying hard to
models.
breathe, panic.
I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me, it never left you stealing me. I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. I got nothing left to now. Bill Gates is not the only bill that I've been observing, not the only bill that I find kind of disturbing. Let's go back to the year 1986 and leave the 99 Congress. What a bunch of dicks. They came up with HR 4456, the Child Vaccination Act. And here's a wild vaccinating fact. If your company that you own and they supply the vaccine, somebody died. Nobody has tried in a court of law at all. Problem solved. No retribution, no legal solution. You all scot-free. Watch me. Hop on a plane with Mr. Epstein. Now boarding the Lolita Express. Whoa, look over there, man. Is that Eminem and and Stephen Colbert. And look, it's the two Bills, Clinton and Gates. Oh man, and they look like they're hitting on that girl that we met on the plane, the one that was with Ghislaine. I think her name was Courtney. Shit, she's only 14. We need to get the fuck up out of here. I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me and never let you steal in me, I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. I'm blessed. Now, let's say that you got a foundation, and almost all your donations, they're directed toward the containment of a particular contagion. And one of your experts, he's kind of grouchy, his name is Mr. Fauci. He comes up with an equation: fear plus persuasion equals the creation of a frightened nation whose panic and lack of education and only wanting just some protection from this agent of infection, they head in your direction and they ask Mr. Bill for their injection. Wanting just protection from this agent of infection. Why don't you go get your shine box? Your direction. Go get your fucking shine box, Tony. Injection. I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me and never left you stealing me, I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. I'm blessed. Dear Bill, I wrote you, but I keep getting returned to sender. I've even tried your wife Melinda, but she's putting a block on my calls. There's a rumor she might have a cock and balls. I apologize for the cursing. I guess you two are never in the same room at the same time, so people think you might be the same person. But anyway, fuck it, man. What's been up? How's the vaccine biz? I know you wish that everybody was on board like Maxine is. Oh, guess what? My wife's pregnant again. You remember Myrtle? Yeah, I always seem to wind up with the skanks. And what's up with you having 3 kids? I thought Melinda was infertile and you were shooting blanks. And what's up with all these tanks? I see them being transported on a train. Is that for martial law? This shit's getting insane. You remember when I met you in New Delhi and you were complaining that it was really smelly? Well, I asked you if it was safe getting that polio vaccine and you said I was making a great decision. Yeah, well, my daughter's okay, but my son Micah, he lost his vision. Yeah, it's been some time and a lot of tears now. And Micah, he's been blind for years now. He's gotten pretty good at walking with a cane, though. Anyway, hit me up, yo. I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me, you never let me steal me. I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Let's try that with the mic on. What's up? How's everybody doing? It is Friday, and it's my first day back. And I tell you what, you miss 2 days, and it all goes to hell. So I do apologize for the doubling of the audio on the music. That was my fault. I had a web page. I had the chat or the video open, and it was live, and then also it was playing here, so it was doubling up the audio. It was really bad, and it took me a long time to figure it out, so I do apologize. Simple mistake. So yes, I am back. Thank you, Riddle Girl, for getting the hype up, right? It has been a couple days. I do apologize for not being on last night, but I was not feeling it. I did not get home until pretty late in the evening, and I was a lot worse off then than I am now. So I'm doing much better now, and now I can actually talk at a reasonable volume without about dying. I think maybe because of some of the things. Anyway, how y'all doing? Irish is in the house. What's up, Irish? I do sometimes have a little bit of like oxygen when I breathe. Sometimes it goes into the stomach and then causes this burping hiccup kind of thing. Kind of weird, kind of painful. But I've been out of it for the last 2 days, so I don't really know a lot that's going on in the news. I mean, I have some articles we're definitely going to get to today. One definitely about the NRA. And silver and gold's doing pretty good, I see. I had seen that it went up to $29 an ounce at one point. It's come back a little bit to $28 an ounce, and I'm still looking at all these silver channels that are like, no, there's going to be a pushback. You know, you just got to stack up your fiat and wait, you know, September, there'll be a pushback and it'll go down to $19 an ounce. Okay, maybe. If so, you know, then I'll be the first one to say, yep, you were right. What's up, Fallout Gaming? How you doing? I believe it's the first time I've seen you here, so welcome to the chat. Did you hear about Save the Children protest in Phoenix? Or Save the Children in protest in Phoenix? No, I have not. I've been out of it for the last 2 days. I do apologize for that, but definitely educate me on that. I'm curious about that one. Is that an anti-gun thing going on in Phoenix? Because if you probably already know, I am from the Phoenix area. But, yeah. It's funny, we have all these rules that you can go to, you know, you can go to Vegas, you can gamble, but you can't have a church of more than 50 people. Apparently, there are places, though, where people are going to their local Walmart, and in Nevada, they're going to their casinos to worship. Because there's no limit on how many people can be in a casino, but there's a limit to only 50 people in church in Nevada. So, I guess, go to the casino and hold worship. And the other one that was holding the worship in the Walmart, I thought that was hilarious. It happened early this week, but no news coverage. Oof. I'll definitely have to check that out. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out.
I think I found that article.
Oh yeah? You want to share it, Riddle? Oh, you did already. Arizona family. All right. Let's go ahead and start it with that then, I guess. Let me bring that up, and then we'll go to the web pages, and we'll... Oh, hold up. We got a delivery. Interruption. Real Girl bought something on Amazon today, and they're like, oh, it's gonna be there, it's gonna be delivered today by 10 p.m. and I was like, there ain't no way it's gonna be delivered today, because right, yeah, it came at 10:05, so she still wants her delivery fee back of $1 or something.
Oh, I'm having that.
$2. Yeah, but that's for putting your pistol together, so that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated with that. I hope this thing works.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, 2,000 plus raise awareness of sex trafficking at rally at Arizona Capitol. Okay, not a gun thing.
No.
That's good to know. I'm tired of seeing all the gun stuff. Does Roxy think it's safe? Getting the dog scan right now.
Is it safe? It's good? Okay. Thank you.
Don't forget the cat. Gotta have a cat scan too. All right. Phoenix, not worried about the C virus concerns. Hundreds of people came together at the Arizona State Capitol to raise awareness about sex trafficking. Well, there's a lot of people in government that you should be addressing then. They heard from different speakers around 5:30 on Friday before a peaceful march in the area, so that was tonight. Some held signs that said "Save the Children" and "Child's Lives Matter." Ooh, that could be considered racist. This is happening in all communities, said Laura Suttle, a demonstrator. This isn't just Phoenix problem. This isn't just an Arizona problem. This is a world human problem. Some protesters weren't wearing masks. Aw. And the large group stayed close together. What, they weren't social distancing? But they were passionate about the cause and wanted to get the word out that even during the pandemic, sex trafficking of kids and adults isn't going away. Well, it's not going to go away because people in power are the ones that are continuing to do it. That's why we will never know who all went to Pedo Island, because the people in power don't want you to know that they went there. And there's only one way to do that, and it's not a peaceful protest. I'm telling you. Everyone thinks this is an international problem. This is an American problem, says Michael Rezi. This is more than an American problem. This is a world problem. It's just that we actually have avenues of people finding out about it a little bit more. Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, Prince Andrew went to Pedo Island, right? Rezi said the victims are preyed upon because they want to be famous and have money and status. Okay, well, yeah, there are young girls that are willing to go on the casting couch, right? These people are offering it, Rezi said. They just take them and train them to think their bodies aren't anything but an object, and we're teaching that in the schools. Well, look at all the music videos going on right now with Cardi B, and that's what the world is. The rally and march that's a morality issue, man. If you want to get rid of that kind of issue, you need to start with the parents. But, that's not an easy answer. The rally and march were also held to raise money to fight sex trafficking. More information can be found there. Riddle Girl did share a link, so if you're interested in more information, click on that. Victims can call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at that number there. For a list of organized and resources, click below. There you go. Yeah, different story than I thought it would be. Interesting, though. It happened early this week, but no news coverage. It should have had news coverage for sure, and it was Friday. Unless it was last Friday. Me and my dad have a joke about Mayor Lori Lightfoot and call her Beetlejuice. Don't insult Beetlejuice that way. Dude, I love that movie. That was a great movie. All right, so thank you for that. What's up, Quantum? How you doing? Iris in the house. So I don't know if Iris, did you have any morning musters while I was out? Or is it storming the whole time?
Conveniently storming.
Riddle goes, shh. No conspiracy theories on the weather in Irish land. All right, so the New York Attorney General files suit to dissolve the NRA gun rights organization, sues back. Oh, I don't know. This one I kind of like and I kind of don't at the same time. Good to see you are well. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Quantum. Doing better. Yesterday was kind of, I wasn't feeling great. That's why I didn't have the chat. Although I said I was going to and then I didn't. The NRA has filed a counter lawsuit against New York Attorney General Lolita James, accusing her of defamation and violating the group's First Amendment. Your First Amendment to divert funds into your own personal bank accounts? James made the political prosecution of the NRA's central campaign theme during her 2018 election bid, it says. After an 18-month investigation targeting the National Rifle Association, New York Attorney General Lolita James announced that her office had filed suit seeking the NRA's complete dissolution for serving as a personal piggy bank for top executives. She ain't lying, okay? The stuff that's in this lawsuit, I mean, first of all, they did their homework and there's a lot coming out, right? And if I was Wayne LaPierre or anybody in the top execs in the NRA, I'd be worried, because this is shit that we all knew in the gun community for a long time. It's clear that the NRA has been failing to carry out its stated mission for many, many years, and instead has operated as a breeding ground for greed, abuse, and brazen illegality. James said in an often melodramatic announcement Thursday. Today we send a strong and loud message that no one is above the law. I hate that word. There are so many people that are above the law. Look at Congress. Not even the NRA, one of the most powerful organizations in this country, she continued. James, a radical Democrat, testily denied to the reports that the probe was politically motivated. Well, obviously it was politically motivated, but she ain't wrong, right? The NRA is a bunch of corrupt people. Well, Wayne LaPierre and his whole crony system. And that apparently has been in place since before Charlton Heston ran the place. And apparently he was just running it in name only anyway. Quantum, why did everything become corrupt? Because money and power, man, that's all it is. I mean, I was watching somebody's YouTube video about it. I think it was Guns and Gadgets or something, that was talking about the history of the NRA, well, the history of Wayne LaPierre in the NRA and how he came to power and how he would lobby other people to vote for him and his people to get the people he wanted into high places, the ones that supported him, right? It was definitely some shady shit going down, and this has been going on for decades, apparently. But does this mean if they prove this and get the NRA dissolved, is the world a better place or a worse place without the NRA as far as gun rights go? Right? If you're all about gun rights, is it better or worse without the NRA at all? I would say that if they are able to get Wayne LaPierre and his cronies out of office and get some actual leadership in there that goes back to what the NRA was originally founded on, that'd be great. But I don't know if you can do that, right? Let's see. This has nothing to do with my personal opinion with regards to gun violence, she claimed during the press conference in response to a reporter's question. This has to do with the fact that the NRA is a corporation, unfortunately did not follow the not-for-profit law in the state of New York, she said, and as a result of that, they should be held accountable, while insisting also that her well-documented opposition to the Second Amendment rights was immaterial to the investigation or the case. James acknowledged that one of only two precedents for the demanding that the organization be terminated was prior suit brought against Trump's family business. It's not a question of movement that I've been waiting for, she said. We came to the conclusion based upon our thorough investigation that enough was enough and we needed to step in and dissolve this corporation just as we did with the Trump Foundation. Oh, I didn't know the Trump Foundation got dissolved. James prominently has backed prior suits targeting both gun rights and the presidential finances with mixed results. However, her current case focused narrowly on the actions of four top NRA executives: CEO Wayne LaPierre, General Counsel John Fraser, formerly CFO Woody Phillips, and former Chief of Staff Joshua Powell. She launched the probe only a few months after assuming office in January of 2019. Shortly thereafter, NRA's internal disputes over its finances became public when its then president Oliver North departed and distanced himself from the group's operations by personally denouncing LaPierre. I'm not a big fan of Oliver North, though, either, to be honest. North alleged that in his exit letter that LaPierre had funneled more than $200,000 into his personal expenditures. I mean, they take trips to the Bahamas every year. According to James, through executives, overall mismanagement had contributed to loss of more than $63 million. That included LaPierre's use of $3.6 million over a 2-year period on lavish charter jet trips to the Bahamas, African safaris, and other family vacations. James also accused LaPierre on spending $1.2 million of NRA funds on gifts to friends and vendors, golf club memberships, and hotels, as well as securing lucrative consulting contracts that resulted in little, if any, actual work. James alleged that the executives had concealed their slush expenses through the organization's advertising company, Ackerman McQueen, which paid them out and then rebuild the NRA in one lump sum without any details of the nature or purpose of the expense. That's money laundering, is it not, real girl?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like money laundering to me. She said that the NRA had paid the firm more than $70 million. And first of all, how many NRA ads have you seen in the last few years? They've been silent on so many issues, it's not even funny. According to James, the lawsuit included 18 causes of action, among which were failing to comply with state and local governing charitable organizations, false reporting of financial details to the state, improper expense documentation, and improper wage reporting. By the way, welcome to everybody that's watching on D-Live as well. How many followers did you say we had on D-Live?
5 followers.
5 followers on D-Live. Thank you very much. Oh, and if you want to follow me on D-Live as well, and you're here on YouTube, there is a link in the description below to my D-Live channel. Also, newly added is also a link to my Parler account. So follow me on Parler. And that's when, we tweet that. Well, we don't tweet because I've been banned from Twitter. We parlay. Whatever. We parlay when we're going out.
Looks like Quantum Lotus is asking for dancing girls.
Oh, dancing girls. I queued that up. There you guys go. There's your dancing girls. Yeah, that's what we could afford for the budget. But, yeah. I was hoping, I was hoping Fuzzy Fork would come on, but yeah, the dancing girls are there just in case Fuzzy Fork ever comes on and wants some dancing girls. All right. In addition to dissolving the NRA, the civil suit was seeking financial restitution and penalties for the 4 defendants and a removal from their leadership positions. I'm okay with leadership position removal, as well as a ban from serving in future leadership positions for nonprofit organizations in New York. Wish that could be more than just New York, but okay. James insisted that despite the actions centering only on 4 of its leaders, the NRA could not continue to exist because the corruption was so broad and because the level of waste and because they had basically destroyed all of the assets. Well, we do know that the NRA is corrupt pretty far down. That's how Wayne LaPierre keeps in power, and nobody's ever challenged him with that power because they've got the system in place. One hand washes the other. So we're not going to watch all of this. The first 4 minutes was kind of bullshit anyway, but this is a little bit more on the NRA. This is Guns and Gadgets. If you're not already subscribed to him, you can consider doing so if you see this and you like what he says. But he has some more aspects on this whole, should we have an NRA or should we not? And I don't know how I feel on it because I've never been a member of the NRA, and I'm glad for that. But I am now a member of the GOA. And so is Riddle Girl. It took a while for you to want to do it, but we are both members of the Gun Owners of America, so that's good. Anyway, let's play this.
Is that the claim by the NRA right now is that since June, they have added 1,000 members a day. Really? There were 1,000 people a day joining the NRA since June? And they're claiming some 60,000 new members. Hey, if they're doing the right thing all of a sudden today after the lawsuit, then good. But with the leadership the way it is, I don't think it's possible. But 60,000 people, I'm sure many of those are new gun owners. Welcome to the family. Make sure you do the right thing. Know how to use your tool. Learn everything you can about it. Get some solid training on how to utilize that. But 60,000 people since June. And I don't know. I'm skeptical on that. The one thing Jason of the NRA has said is that, and this is a quote, we've got a grassroots army, a massive grassroots army. They are not paid by any one person or any group of billionaires. These are folks who joined on their own, who got skin in the game, who go out to vote, and who advocate on the issue. He also said, we're confident that we'll be able to mobilize them and get them out there, and they'll be excited to do it. I mean, it's a big election and a big difference in the candidates. Now, also in this article, this is why I say be analytical to everything, guys. Don't just blindly follow anything or any group or anyone. I'm going to read you this paragraph, and I'll have this article down below if you can't find it. It says, the NRA has sparred with Trump over his support for some gun control measures, including the implementation of his 2018 bump stock ban.
Bullshit.
that Wayne LaPierre and Chris Cox asked for.
It says, despite the fact that the Obama administration approved the sale of bump fire stocks on at least 2 occasions.
All right, so he just cut to an older clip that he had done a while back when the NRA came out and said that we should get rid of bump stocks.
The National Rifle Association is calling on the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, that's the ATF, to immediately review whether these devices comply with federal law. They're asking the ATF to look into this. And they continue. The NRA believes that devices designed to allow semi-automatic rifles to function like fully automatic rifles should be subject to additional regulations. That's the National Rifle Association's statement from Wayne LaPierre and Chris Cox, October 2017, in a joint statement released by them.
We need to stop dangerous people before they act. So Congress should provide funding for states to adopt risk protection orders. This can help prevent violent behavior before it turns into a tragedy.
I think if the NRA is going to try to win people back by spending money and fighting in the states where they need to be present, they need to be fighting. Let's be honest. Let's call a duck a duck. The NRA asked for, pushed, and helped direct the president to the red flag gun confiscation and the bump stock. Let's not. That's what
we did with the 2
in fact,
years.
That is probably one of their
House
biggest
and Senate.
black eyes in the last 10 years. Now they continued. Jason also said that such disagreements don't take away from the president's overall positive legacy on Second Amendment issues or the group's support for him, and pointed towards Trump's judicial appointments, which he has done a ton of conservative justice appointments at every level, not just the Supreme Court with the 2, but every level in almost every state, I believe. They also say that the fact that the administration deemed anything related to firearms as an essential business, which at the request of other groups, was a big thing. Now, the states that they're going to focus on are Arizona, Colorado, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Those are all considered swing states for this election, and the NRA is going to spend tens of millions of dollars in those states to fight off the anti-gunners.
I'd be surprised if the NRA does anything.
I'm going to take them at their word, see what they do, but I'm just skeptical.
Where was
because
the
this happened
NRA
the same
in
day
Virginia?
that the New York AG dropped the people's elbow on them, saying, hey, you're spending money on these things when you didn't spend towards your core, which is, gun rights, advocacy, training, and public information. Now, all of a sudden, that same day, now we're going to focus on the public information part again. Hey, as a life member, I don't want to see the organization as a whole, as it's currently structured. It needs to be changed, but that would be a huge void, and there's a lot of people don't think so. But
without dismantling,
those people who know,
I don't know
how these groups are structured right now and how big the NRA actually is. It is a vast group with tentacles everywhere. That is a big group, and to have that disappear overnight could be detrimental, and that would be a big void to fill. Now, there are groups there that will fill the void eventually, but it wouldn't be instantaneous. But I just wanted to get that out there. The NRA says they're going to start spending some money in these swing states to help to point out that Joe Biden is this anti-gun puppet that says everything that.
So I don't know. I think I go back and forth with this, but I'm kind of thinking I'd be all right with the NRA being gone. Let's replace it with the GOA. Yeah, it might take a while, and they're definitely going to run a victory lap like, oh, we defeated the NRA. But if it wasn't for the NRA, we wouldn't have the NICS checks. If it wasn't for the NRA, we wouldn't have Trump. I don't know if Trump would have done it with the NRA. But, they pushed Trump to have red flag laws, which I'm definitely not a fan of. As soon as Trump said that, I was like, nope, not a Trump fan. And then with the whole bump stocks as well. And then Trump came out that. And what did they do in the first 2 years with Trump when they had both House and Senate? They got rid of bump stocks. So the first 2 years with full control, the only thing they accomplished was gun control. Yeah, that's what I want from my Republican, senators and congressmen and president. Yeah, for sure. All right, so Fallout Gaming, you guys know of Dan Bongino. He was former Secret Service. Yeah, I know who he is. And friends, one of his friends said about Biden's mental state. I mean, you can check it out if you want, but I mean, we all know, I believe just about everybody knows about Biden's mental state. It's pretty obvious that he doesn't even know where he is half the time. All right. Other than that, let's go to Portland. The mayor protesters are attempting to commit murder, the mayor says. No cops, no prisons, total absolution. Violent clashes this week between protesters and police in Portland, Oregon have ratcheted up tensions in the city days after an agreement between state and federal officers appeared to be calming. More demonstrations were rallying Thursday night, hours after the city's mayor decried the unrest that had roiled Portland since George Floyd was killed. You are not demonstrating, you are attempting to commit murder, Mayor Ted Wheeler said Thursday in a hastily called news conference alongside Portland Police Chief Chuck Lovell. Wheeler also warned that the city's anticipated more attacks on public buildings in the immediate future. Thursday night, Portland police declared an unlawful assembly outside a precinct, and protesters were ordered to leave. They had said earlier that they believed the intent of the crowd was to vandalize and burn the precinct. Officers worked to clear the streets near the precinct, and demonstrators at times running at the crowd to push people away. Smoke canisters were also deployed, news outlets reported. Portland police had said some demonstrators in the group laid ties made of rebar in the street that caused damage to police vehicles. They throw down spike strips, so what's the big deal? Early Friday, roads near the precinct were closed. Police said any persons, including members of the press, who violated the order would be subject to arrest. The department said in a tweet. I'm surprised they didn't suppress that. By the way, that was something I learned. We're not going to talk about that much tonight, but I'll talk about it here. I found out just recently that Twitter banned or put Trump in a timeout, I guess, recently. Well, I'm telling you, they're poking the bear. I don't know, man. Will he actually do anything about Section 230? I don't think he will. You got all these Republicans saying, well, in order for us to do anything about Section 230, you got to reelect us. Well, you don't understand, dude. You know, is it Jim Jordan? Jim Jordan wants to be reelected in order to do anything about Section 230. Dude, you're not even going to get reelected because you're not doing anything about Section 230 or 240, right? Because you guys are sitting on your ass and not doing a damn thing, you're just talking, nothing's going to happen. They're going to manipulate the system, only allow the voices they want to be heard, and therefore you're not going to get heard, you're not going to get elected. And then what are you going to do about Section 230 or 240? Not a damn thing. Officers worked to clear the street near the precinct of demonstrators at times. Oh, I read that. Early Friday roads. I read that. Don't think for a moment that you are participating in this activity. You are not being a prop for the re-election campaign of Donald Trump because you absolutely are. So don't think for a moment you're not helping Trump because you absolutely are, the mayor said. If you don't want to be part of that, then don't show up. The Pacific Northwest Youth Liberation Front, which advertised on Wednesday's rally on social media, uses Twitter to announce round 2 of the same demonstrations on Thursday night with the slogan, "No cops, no prison, total absolution." The group, The group, which describes itself as the centralized network of autonomous youth collectives dedicated to the direct action towards total liberation, did not immediately reply to a request for comment. Interesting. So shit's still going on in Portland. What's up, Broken Patriot? How you doing this evening? Did you know about what was it? This one here, this rally at the Capitol today. Child's Lives Matter. It was raise awareness of sex trafficking. Yeah, we covered that just a little bit ago. Found that interesting. That was brought to us by Fallout Gaming. All right, talking about Biden's mentality. Trump is saying that racist Biden is no longer worthy of the black vote. He says Joe Biden insulted every black American today and he should not be a president. He is a racist, or he is the racist. Democratic presidential contender Joe Biden's most recent racist remark drew a sneering email Friday from President Donald Trump, who said the presumptive rival was unworthy of support from voters of color. After yesterday's statement, Sleepy Joe Biden is no longer worthy of the black vote. The latest controversy came when the 77-year-old former vice president appeared during a Yahoo News interview to suggest that the black community lacked diversity. By the way, you all know by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredible different attitudes about different things. The comment echoed Biden's previous blunder in which he appeared to take the black voters for granted by saying if you were having trouble deciding between him and Trump, you ain't black. It continued to amplify the growing concerns both of his cavalier attitude on race and of his apparent cognitive decline, which some speculate now appears to be full-blown dementia. Biden has an extensive and well-documented track record of making offensive racial statements, as well as several alarming blights on his voting record followed nearly 4 decades in the U.S. Senate. However, Thursday's comment was the first since Memorial Day's death of George Floyd helped trigger the nationwide. Yeah, we already know that. It resulted in the removal of many relics. Biden's prior controversy happened only a day before Floyd died while in custody of Minneapolis police officers who had used the questionable neck restraint to subdue him as he fearfully begged for his life before a crowd of onlookers. Oh, the one where if you don't vote for me, you ain't black? Yeah. I don't know. We watched that whole thing with the leaked footage, the body cam footage of George Floyd. It didn't really convince me that the cops were in the right. It did convince me that George Floyd was probably on something and not in his right frame of mind. I think that he was definitely resisting arrest as well because he was out of the right state of mind. And they did find 3 different drugs in his system. Not excusing the cops. The cops still shouldn't have knelt on his neck for 8 minutes. Right? Once he's restrained, he's restrained. He wasn't running anywhere. If anything, put your knee on his legs so that he doesn't get up and run away, or get some leg restraints on him. Right? But it is kind of funny. Well, it's kind of funny that they brought out that tape of the body cam footage. You know whoever leaked that was law enforcement. Absolutely, 100%. No, I didn't spend my time with your family today. All right, cool. Family time's important time, bro. Minneapolis Star-Tribune endorses Representative Ilhan Omar's primary opponent. Uh-oh. This might be good news, huh? I might have chalked this up into the good news section. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune endorsed Representative Ilhan Omar's Democratic primary opponent ahead of next week's election, which is just the latest sign that Omar's seat might not be hers much longer. The editorial board called into question Omar's intentions, arguing that she seems more interested in leading a leftist movement than in serving her constituents. You think? Anton Meadow, or whatever, on the other hand, is invested in his community first and foremost, the paper said. After careful consideration and interviews with both the Star-Tribune editorial board, recommends Melton Mio, and first-time candidate with strong progressive values that align with the district, as well as the consensus building skills honored as a professional mediator. Excuse me, sorry, that's something I'm gonna have to get used to, is like if I breathe in air into my stomach. Unlike Omar, Melton will help resolve disputes to move forward, the editorialist wrote. Omar's 2018 victory launched her to the national spotlight as the first Muslim woman and first refugee elected to Congress. I kind of wonder what she was doing before she ran. I never looked into her. I was never that interested. The Electoral Board wrote, but her time has been marred by missteps, including remarks on Israel widely regarded as anti-Semitic, and outsized number of missed votes and campaign finance issues. And you married your brother in order to get him into the United States. When confronted about these failures, Omar took little responsibility for her rocky start, instead largely blaming her critics and saying her failing was perhaps in not realizing what a special unicorn she would be in Congress. Melton has made similar accusations, arguing that Omar has lost the trust of her Jewish constituents due to many anti-Semitic statements she made over the past year. He has also attacked her status as a member of the Squad, a congressional group made up of the Congress' most liberal Democrats, including Alexandria Cortez, who also used to go as Sandy and not Alexandria. So which one is her real name, I wonder? And why did she pick Sandy? Was it to sound more white? Melton's criticism seems to have resonated because he's raised nearly triple what she has in campaign donations. Holy crap. Nice. She was bumping uglies with her brother. Well, I don't know if she was bumping uglies, but she definitely married his ass in order to get him in here. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they did at least once to consummate. Gotta make it look good. Here's another kind of local story. ICE has discovered the most sophisticated tunnel in the U.S. history near the border in Arizona. However, they say that was incomplete. The fact that the material was very well built makes this one very unique type of tunnel. An incomplete tunnel found stretching from Mexico to Arizona appears to be the most sophisticated tunnel in U.S. history. The tunnel intended for smuggling ran from the neighborhood of San Luis Rio, Colorado, Mexico to San Luis, Arizona, where it stopped short of reaching the surface. It was built in an area that's not conducive to tunnels because of the terrain, and it had a ventilation system, water lines, electrical wiring, and a rail system, and extensive reinforcement, federal officers said. What makes this one unique is that the terrain in Yuma is very hard. The sand is very loose, and most of them end up caving. So the fact that the material was very well built and it had ventilation, it had water, it had a rail system with walls, roof, floor, electrical, making this one of a very unique type of tunnel, said Angela Ortiz, Assistant Special Agent in charge of Homeland Security Investigations in Yuma. HSI is a division of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This appears to be the most sophisticated tunnel in U.S. history and certainly the most sophisticated I've seen in my career, says Carl Landrum, Acting Chief Patrol Agent. Homeland Security Investigations started excavating around the tunnel in late July after someone reported a sinkhole near the border wall. HSI already had reports of potential tunnel activity in that area already, and the agency began drilling, Ortiz said. A camera was sent 25 feet underground, and the tunnel was discovered on Tuesday. The tunnel measured 3 feet, about 1 meter wide, and 4 feet high. Investigators don't know what exactly the tunnel would have been used for since it was incomplete. Drugs and people, I would imagine. Maybe guns. They also don't know how long it's been there because they don't know what kind of equipment was used to build it. If it was done by hand, it would be many months of construction to get as far as it did, Ortiz said. But if the builders use heavy machinery, it would potentially be a few months, not that long a period at all. Smugglers have been using tunnels to get drugs and people across the border for decades. Well, there you go, drugs and people. Scary stuff. Yeah, Nancy as president would be the worst. Yeah, that would be bad. Can you imagine Nancy Pelosi as the president? I don't want to even think about it.
Crypt keeper.
Now, Joe Biden would be very smart, and a lot of people, even on his side, have said, if you really want to win, get Michelle Obama as your running mate. If he were to pick Michelle or Michael Obama as his running mate, yeah, I think I might be a little worried that Joe Biden might win. If he does Kamala Harris, I'm not worried at all. I don't know if Obama would be down with that, but if she is, he is, whatever it is, then that's a scary thought. But Michael Obama blames Trump and the Rona and racism for her mental health issues. It's almost like there's a limit to our sacrifice, and it was about a month, and then we just got tired of the virus. Former First Lady Michael Obama said this week she is suffering from a low-grade depression because of the Rona pandemic, racial tensions in the U.S., and Trump administration's response to both. I'm waking up in the middle of the night because I'm worried about something, or there's a heaviness, Obama said in the Michelle Obama's podcast on Wednesday. I try to make sure I get a workout in, although there have been periods throughout this quarantine where I just have felt too low, she claimed. Obama then described the emotional highs and lows that I think everybody feels when you just don't feel yourself. It's exhausting to be waking up to yet another story of a black man or black person somehow being dehumanized or hurt or killed or falsely accused of something, she said. And it's just as troubling to see how many Americans refuse to wear face masks. Oh, there's almost like there's a limit to our sacrifice, and it was about a month, and then we just got tired of the virus, she said. Yeah, you got tired of getting lied to. Now, I've already had people leave because I don't believe masks do a damn thing. So just so you know, if you bought into the Kool-Aid, if you've drunk the Kool-Aid enough to think that a piece of cloth is going to straighten the curve a little bit, I mean, see ya, kind of thing. But we've gone over this many a time. Those masks don't do a damn thing. And if you want to actually protect yourself from a virus, you need full respirator, goggles, and a respirator. The mask, even on the side of the box, it says it won't protect you. So, some people. Quantum, yeah, Nancy Pelosi's husband has invested in many of his tech companies. It's just a mess. But I think people are not as docile as before. Q. So yeah, Michelle Obama is all upset. Guess they should have stayed in the White House. Maybe she would be willing to run. Report says Las Vegas officials sent 223,000 primary ballots to the wrong address. So here comes the mail-in voting fraud thing, right? And there was another, was it New York, that found like over 200,000 of their ballots were fraudulent or in their primary. But we're supposed to be okay with mail-in ballots being fine. Biden is going to pick Michelle as VP, then blow out due to mental issue so Obama can be president. First of all, that's not how that works, broken patriot. So what would happen is Michelle would be president in that situation, and Barack would be first lady. And even if Michelle then died, it wouldn't be Barack, it would be the vice president. Now, would Barack actually have a lot of influence over her? Yeah, probably, but I'm sure she had a lot of influence over him too. On Wednesday, the Trump campaign filed suit against Nevada Democrats for a secretive attempt to pass a measure that would send ballots automatically to every registered voter on the state's voting rolls. An illegal late-night coup, Nevada's clubhouse got... I already read that one a couple days ago. It followed other blue states, most notoriously California, amid false media claims that they were merely sending out applications, but increasingly the mail-in ballot push that began on the very day in March when the President Trump declared a national health emergency in the Rona pandemic has come under scrutiny, with Democrats' bad faith intentions coming into focus. Nowhere is it clearer than in Nevada, where the data from the recent primaries in which the state attempted the same practice show the disastrous consequences that ensued, according to the Public Interest Legal Foundation. The Election Integrity Watchdog on Wednesday issued a research brief showing that in Clark County, the state's southernmost county, which encompasses Vegas and Henderson, more than 223,000 ballots went to the wrong address. That comprised in total of 17% of the 1.3 million ballots that were mailed out. These numbers show how vote by mail fails, said Christina Adams. The new proponents of the mail-in balloting don't often understand how it actually works, he continued. States like Oregon, Washington spent many years building their mail-in voting systems and are notably aggressive with voter list maintenance efforts. So yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of political people don't even know how their shit works. That's why, like, when they're writing a gun control law, it's very vague, because they're just trying to get it as vague as possible, because they don't understand. They don't care to understand. They just make it really vague so that the local people can determine whatever they need to determine out of it. And I mean, you got the United States Postal Service, which is basically on their last leg already, and now you're trying to inflood them with all these mail-in ballots. They can't even get a regular letter here on time, let alone ballots. If we're trusting them with our votes, man, we're in deep shit. So there's a poultry plant in Mississippi where executives indicted after work site raids involving 680 illegals. Wow. In Mississippi. 4 executives from 2 Mississippi poultry processing plants have been indicted on federal charges tied to one of the largest workplace immigration raids in U.S. history and the largest worksite enforcement action within a single state. Yeah, I don't even think Arpaio was part of that. U.S. Attorney Mike Hurst and the acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Matt Albence, announced the indictments as the documents were unsealed Thursday. Their announcement happened a day before the 1-year anniversary of the raids, in which 680 people were arrested at 7 poultry plants in central Mississippi. That happened a year ago, apparently. Holy crap. Hurst and Albence also scolded journalists for reports that focused on the arrest separating children from immigrant parents who were sent to detention centers. If a parent puts their child in that position where they commit a criminal act that subjects them to being arrested and detained, that responsibility falls upon them, Albin said. Exactly. Right? This is why I don't give a fuck about dreamers, right? If a parent sneaks their kids into Disneyland, right, they're going to kick the parents and the child out of Disneyland because you came in here without a ticket, right? You came in Disneyland, you hopped over the wall illegally. Now, is it the fault of the child? No, it's not. Is it the fault of the parent? Yes, it is. The parent is the one that's going to get in trouble with the law, but the child is not going to just be allowed to roam in Disneyland while, they're figuring out what to do with the parents. And it's the same thing, in my opinion, here in the United States. If you come here with children, that just makes you a worse parent. That's a great message to people. Let's see. That's the link to the footage. Okay, hold on. I'm reading it backwards again. Yes, that's the Obamas I meant. And so I don't think Michael has a bloodline. It's complicated. I don't think she can run. These people are very into esoteric. That's the link to the footage. I don't see any link to the footage, but okay.
YouTube must have took it away.
Yeah. If you can work in a shop with a mask, why can't you vote with a mask? It's such a sham. I hope folks don't buy into this. Yeah, same here. Same here, man. Alvin said last year's raids in Mississippi brought 126 indictments, 117 criminal arrests, and 17 convictions. Hurst said, and the investigation continues. 2 people from the indictments unsealed Thursday, Salvador DeGero Naves and Eris Valent, worked at A&B Inc., a plant in Plachetta. So yeah, interesting. And the last one that we're going to be talking about tonight is Cuomo begging wealthy New York City residents to return to help pay for their Rona shortfall. Oh, if this isn't just good fucking news. That's right, Cuomo. Get on your knees and beg. Get those nipple rings out. Maybe rub them a little bit. See if that'll do it. You have been going against the rich for I don't know how long, right? Oh, you need to pay your fair share and everything. Like, and then they go release prisoners, defund the police, make it a much more violent place to live, right? No law and order, but now you're begging them to come back. Why? Because they pay the majority of your taxes. And now you guys can't even keep your city afloat because people with money, they like to keep that money. And if there's a better place with more security, they're going to move there. And I don't think they're coming back. If they do come back, they're stupid. And they deserve whatever they get. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo begged wealthy Manhattanites who fled the Big Apple during the height of the Rona pandemic to return to the city to help ease the financial burden caused by the pandemic. So you shut the whole city down. And far as I know, I mean, they were shut down for a very long time. Are they even open even a little bit? I don't even know. I don't really follow New York news that much. I try not to anyway, but they were shut down probably the longest. You sent sick people to old people homes, right? You're not allowing people to work. I literally talk to people all day long who are now in their Hamptons house, who also lived here, or in their Hudson Valley house, or in their Connecticut weekend house, and I say, you got to come back. When are you coming back? Cuomo said during a press conference earlier this week. Wow. Look up this on YouTube. After action medical report, rider hit with rubber bullet. A lot of riders get hit with rubber bullets. I saw somebody get their eye taken out by a rubber bullet. Don't go to a riot. You don't want to get hit by a rubber bullet? Don't go. All right? We'll go to dinner. I'll buy you a drink, Cuomo said. Oh, you can... Are restaurants open in New York now? You're going to take them out for a drink? Describing his conversations with wealthy New Yorkers. Come over, I'll cook. Cuomo admitted that it's more appealing for New Yorkers to remain outside of the city because of the high taxes. High taxes, you can't work. Everything's shut down. And there's checkpoints, right? In fact, in order to get in or out of the state, you got to, take a Rona test, if I remember correctly from what we had read before. The city is currently facing a $30 billion deficit because of the pandemic, and some city officials have proposed raising taxes on the wealthy to make up for that loss. Well, most of the wealthy are already leaving or gone. So you're going to have to start raising taxes on the non-wealthy, because that's the only thing that's going to be left. But Cuomo said if the city raises taxes, the wealthy will never return. They're not coming back right now, and you know what else they're thinking? If I stay there, I pay a lower income tax because they don't pay the New York City surcharge, Cuomo said. New York has one of the worst outbreaks in the country, mostly because you're reporting everything as a Rona death. Largely because of Cuomo's and New York City Mayor de Blasio's reluctant back in March to take early action to shut down the state. Well, okay, so if you do believe in the Rona and everything associated with it, yes. In March, when Trump was saying to shut everything down, they were like, oh, no, we're not going to shut anything down. Mask? We don't need masks. Even Fauci said not to get masks. Masks don't do anything, Fauci said. If you wear a mask, you're messing with it all the time, Fauci said. You don't need to wear a mask, Fauci said. And now he says you do. But there's plenty of clips out there where he said you don't. And, anything Trump says, Trump could say the sky is blue, and then it'll be like, no, it's green. It's totally green. So yeah, they didn't want to be in agreement with Trump. Then he started like, oh, we don't have enough stuff because of Trump. You had enough stuff. Cuomo, like several other blue state governors, also spearheaded a disastrous policy requiring nursing homes to accept Rona patients, even if they lack the resources to separate them from the healthy population. Cuomo has continued to deny that he is to blame for this policy, instead blaming the Trump administration, New York hospitals, and even the nursing homes themselves. Oh my God, this guy's a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. You know what? Let's give them the dancing girls. Because good on Cuomo. Win the idiot prize of the day. Tell you what. So, those are the stories that I have for you. Let me catch up on chat a little bit here. Let's see. Follow Gaming. The guy needs to grow a pair. Oh, Cuomo? Yeah, I don't know, man. He's got... I've already seen his nipples pierced. I don't know what else he got pierced. I don't want to see if he's got a set. Cried over a cut, and then they use a huge piece of gauge.
There's nipples, I guess.
Yeah, it's got to be a pretty big gauge to see him through the shirt like that, you'd think, right? Como line of dirty politicians? Yeah. I was part of a BSA, and I knew how to suck it up and walk it off. What's BSA? Yeah, I don't know. Let's defund politicians. Yeah, there you go. That's a cause I could get behind. Yeah, defund politicians because they know how to do. Senators have a mansion with the senators' pay. Well, they go in, thousandaires or whatever, maybe millionaires if they're real lucky. They come out uber rich. It's because of all the side deals that they make. How that's not, I'm sure it's totally illegal, but how they get away with it. That's why no one's above the law really pisses me off. There's obviously people above the law. And Broken Patriot wants to know how I'm feeling. I'm feeling as good as I can for a day after that. As I said, I'm having a little bit of gas issues. Like I breathe in oxygen, I think it goes into my stomach, which then causes like a hiccup burp kind of situation. Which, when I'm pausing long times is when I'm kind of trying to deal with that. So I do apologize for that, anybody watching. BSA is Boy Scouts of America. All right, cool. There you go. I was never a Boy Scout. I was in a group like the Boy Scouts, but it was my own church group called the Pathfinders. It's an SDA thing or Seventh-day Adventist thing. Just a little bit of my own personal story on that.
I was a Girl Scout.
You were a Girl Scout? Did you sell cookies and brownies?
Yes, I did. No
Were you
brownies, just cookies.
Just cookies?
I started out as a brownie, though.
Oh, did you?
And I moved all the way up to a cadet.
So how long were you into the Girl Scouts?
6 years.
6 years? Holy crap. Nice. I actually enjoyed ours. It was really fun. We did the marching and, you had to learn all the steps and about faces and stuff. And we'd have like little parades with flags and stuff. It was cool. I enjoyed it. Other than that, yeah, I'm feeling all right, man. It'll get better. From yesterday I was not feeling it, and that's why I didn't do the chat yesterday. So once again, apologize for saying that I was going to come in here and I was going to have a hangout chat, but man, just the talk, it was kind of harsh. I think maybe it was because my throat was a little scratchy because they put something down my throat while I was asleep. Quantum Lotus was a Girl Scout too.
Yeah.
That's the first time. I guess there you go. Girl needs her own mic. No, she likes talking from the distance. That's what she likes. Not here in the U.S. Oh, okay. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for you this evening. There are links down in the descriptions below. Once again, I'm sorry about the mess up in the beginning of the chat where I had the audio doubled. But the first link is Adam Lawson's Blessed. It's the song that I play before I come on live. If you like that song, please click his link, check him out, like his videos, subscribe if you really like his content. Second one is projectrecover.org. That's a group of people that go out and find lost service members in past wars and return the remains to their families. And lastly is a GoFundMe for my good friend Irish USMC vet who's trying to set up a thing in Tennessee where veterans can come live and room and board free while they learn a new skill like gunsmithing, blacksmithing, or gardening. So if you're looking for something, to support something, what would I usually say? If you're looking for, some sort of organization or charity to support, those are the ones that I recommend and I support myself. Other than that, there's two new links down below in the descriptions below. One is to my Parler account, so you can follow me on Parler and know when I go live there. Or also the other link is for my DLive account, which I'm also streaming to. So if you want to follow me on D Live, because if I ever get taken off of YouTube, that's where I'll be streaming. I'm also going to be setting up a BitChute account at some point, so that what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to start editing my videos here on YouTube, taking out the gun shots of when I go to the range and replacing them with cartoon sounds, just so they get past the bots, because the bots pick up on the noises and automatically flag your video for manual review. And then I don't make no money on it. So if I'm not going to make any money on it, you got to edit that so that, you can try to still make some sort of money on YouTube. But if I start editing my videos that way, you can damn sure well believe I have a BitChute account with a link that will have the unedited footage there. So yeah, that's what I'm setting up. But those are the links in the descriptions below. Thank you very much for joining me. It was a great time. I will be back on Monday at the same time. It's about an hour and 4 minutes prior to where I'm talking right now. It's 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and there will be a list of all the times at the end of the screen here.
And thank you to our D-Live watchers.
And thank you to the D-Live watchers. Do we know how many are watching? Or
2.
2 people on D-Live. Thank you very much. 2 people on D-Live. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to have to set up a system that if they donate lemons, that I get some sort of notification as well, because that's a thing on D-Live.
Well, you turned off the restream chat, and so the bot stopped pushing it back and forth.
Oh, is there been any chats in the D-Live?
No, but it'd be
Okay.
good if you kept that on. That
Yeah, I apologize for that. I didn't know that I turned off the back and forth chat. So if anybody on D-Live was chatting, I wouldn't have seen it. So apologies for
I
that.
was keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, but Riddle's got my back. Riddle's got my back. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you again on Monday. Make sure to watch out for that government. Keep your family close and try to live as free as you possibly can in these tyrannical times that we find ourselves in. Until next time, peace.